What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. Thank you as ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I hope you are doing well. Apologies for the super late video that I am putting out, but I wanted to put the news out as I had it at this moment in time. So on the screen, you will see all of my socials. If you could give those a follow for me. So on the YouTube, make sure you subscribed. On online, we do have podcasts, so we are on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts as well. So like I said, YouTube, make sure you subscribed, make sure you are commenting, make sure you share, hype the video. If you're listening to the audio version of this video, please make sure that you are giving it a like rating for me. For that, I would be greatly appreciative of it. So just to point out, the information that I'm about to run through is pretty much all of the information as it stands as of 22:53 this evening on Sunday. So we are talking about a potential incoming for Leeds United. Well, it's potential depending on who you listen to and sort of what information is actually out there. So Leeds are reportedly looking at Romano Schmidt from Werder Bremen. We are looking at him as a potential number 10 player or an attacking central midfielder type player. And a lot of people immediately went, well, why are we looking at a player like this? Because we've just brought in Buonanotte. And whilst that is true, I think that Farke sees Buonanotte more as a right-sided left footer. That's the type of player that he is. So kind of like an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side, depending on the way that the system lines up, which may mean that we're probably looking at potentially moving to like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-2. I don't know, whatever. But we're looking at doing something a little bit more dynamic overall. Now, where this gets sort of slightly sticky and in terms of information that's out there or that it doesn't kind of quite make sense is in the first instance where it was first kind of brought to my attention was from Fabrizio Romano, everybody's favourite. Give me 50 quid and I'll put a tweet out for you, where he stated, exclusive, Leeds United are in talks to sign Romano Schmidt from Werder Bremen, negotiations ongoing. Negotiations around €15 million plus add-ons with LUFC keen, talks on. And then shortly after, I say shortly after that, a little while after that, Graham Smith then comes out and contradicts that, which is that Leeds United were talking to and about Romano Schmidt, but then signed Facundo Buonanotte. Haven't spoken about attacking mid since then, considered unlikely unless something crazy / unforeseen occurs. Striker is where they are most likely to strengthen if they can. Then Florian Plettenberg said, so Sky reporter over in Germany, Leeds United are pushing to sign Romano Schmidt. No agreement yet, but there is a realistic chance of a move before deadline day. Talks are ongoing. The fee is expected to be around €15 million plus add-ons after Fabrizio Romano and I confirmed. I'm assuming that's what it means, and that's from Sky Sports DE. Then to muddy the waters a little bit further, Zinny Boswell over in the UK then said, told Romano Schmidt is unlikely to join Leeds United in this transfer window, one that could well have happened before Facundo Buonanotte signed on loan. Clearly, there is not such a need for him now. LUFC have other priorities. So, what you have here is you have journalists in the UK saying that it's probably not going to happen, but then you also have journalists in Europe saying that it is looking likely that we're trying to push this forward. So what we seem to have here is that we have that juxtaposition of European journalists saying, yes, it is happening, and UK journalists going, well, no, it's not because we've got other priorities. Now, what I will say is that when you look at it in terms of the Buonanotte transfer, that happened very, very quickly. It was kind of almost announced, but within literally 7 hours, it was done. And I think that was because it was done UK side. So it's not a transfer that's coming from Europe. So one of the things that you've got to think about in this scenario, or one of the ways that you need to think about it, is that the UK journalists, they could possibly be right, but what they could also be doing as well is they might just be trying to dampen the waters a little bit on it because they've been given information to say so. Whereas the European journalists have probably been told stuff by agents in terms of what's potentially going on. Now, again, this could just be agents and agents trying to put their players out there, which, again, is perfectly understandable and, perfectly around where we need to be. So I went again and did a little bit more digging and thought, right, okay, what else can I look at to give me a little bit more information? A couple of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, a couple of them have said that basically the UK journalists are coming out with what they're coming out with because Parag has basically told everybody to shut the fuck up. Now, again, you take all of that with a pinch of salt, but it kind of stands to reason because the Norte transfer happened. Literally, nobody knew it was going to happen. It just happened. Whereas this, because it's now coming from a European team, there's more chances of the news getting out there. The same as the Doki potential transfer that was looking like it was going to happen. Because it was coming from Europe, there was a lot more information available to us on that in terms of people were being quite forthright in what they were saying. Now, in this situation, like I said, the UK journalists have been tempered with their response to it. There's been no final, it's definitely not happening. What we're getting is probably won't. So again, it's very important to understand the words that are being used. Now, also as well, off of the back of this, what people are also saying, well, that basically means that's going to be the end of Tanaka. It won't be. They're different types of players. They are completely different types of players. The same when everybody said that with Norte coming in, that would be the end of Tanaka as well. It's not. They're a different type of player. Schmidt is a number 10, effectively. That's his position. We'll have a look at his statistics in a minute, just for anybody that didn't know anything about him. He is a number 10, essentially. That's where he plays. Tanaka is a number 8. Now, Schmidt can play in the number 10, but he in the number 8 role, but he is predominantly a progressive forward, number 10, likes to sit high up the pitch. So just to get that one out of the way. If you're asking me if I think we're going to sell Tanaka in this window, you can never say never in any type of situation, but I am probably 80% certain that we're not going to be selling Tanaka. In my humble opinion, as a fan, as somebody that tries to do a little bit of research to bring you information when I can do, and just to give you as much as I possibly can. Now, as I mentioned, with regards to Schmidt as well, looking at him from a scouting report point of view, he is exceptional, like really exceptional. So in terms of where he is in the percentile in certain aspects, so in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in 8 out of the however many that are on their statistics whilst percentile, he scores extremely highly in all of them. So, for example, assisted goals, he's in the 99th percentile. Shot creating actions, again, he's in the 99th percentile. Progressive passes, 92nd percentile. Progressive carries, 94% percentile. Successful take-ons, 93 percentile. Touches at overall, 94% percentile again. Progressive passes, 98% percentile. Looking at it, on his statistics alone, he is a ridiculously good player, like a ridiculously good player, and would be an amazing, make no mistake, he would be an amazing signing for us. And again, based off of statistics, whether or not that can be transferred into the Premier League is a different matter. But going off the optics of his scouting report, it all looks good. So when you go into overwise in terms of where he is versus other midfielders in the Bundesliga, you can see in terms of where he sits in all of these. So things like progressive carries, key passes, all of that kind of stuff, duels won, passes, progressive passes, etc., so on and so forth. You can see where he sits clearly in that image that's in there. But this is the most important thing. Passes into penalty box, he sits first. Expected assists, he sits first. Shot assists, he sits first. Key passes, he sits first. Crosses, he sits first. Accurate crosses, again, he sits first. Based off of scouting-wise, he absolutely fits the bill of the type of attacking player that we would need or that we should be looking at in terms of when you look at, right, okay, how are we going to progress this team and how are we going to look a little bit further in terms of improving players that we've got or improving the overall squad. He would, in my opinion, based off of statistics and a joke here, 10-minute YouTube video, but based off the statistics, it looks like he would fit the bill very, very well. With that being said, there are the conflicting reports that we have there. And a lot of people saying, well, that means that players are going to go out the door. So if it probably does mean that players are going to go out the door, I don't think it's going to be a Tanaka that goes out of the door. I think you're probably looking at a Piru and a Nonto that are going to be going out of the door. I've kind of said that from the start of the January transfer window. I wouldn't be surprised if those were the two players that actually went out. So, it's very, very difficult to get overtly excited about this because there's such conflicting information. And I'm not. What I'm trying to do is for you guys is to just disseminate a little bit of the information and give reasons why it seems to be a different story in the UK versus a different story in Europe. So again, I want to show you just concept scouting report, just to show you again his overall statistics. So my face is going to have completely disappeared, but this just gives you a little bit more further information. So looking at his overall statistics wise, he's not a defensive midfielder, deep lying playmaker, all-round midfielder, attacking midfielder. He actually sits higher on the all-round midfielder and attacking midfielder overall. But if you just look at everything else, creation, progression, those are the main things that you should be looking at. Percentile profile, as I said to you before, if you look at all of those little sections down the bottom left-hand side, it just gives you a better overall understanding of the type of player that he is. And again, he sits very, very highly in the archetype comparison as well. Overall, he would be an absolutely amazing signing for us. He would, just based off of that information and the scouting report information that we have to hand there. He would be, in my opinion, an amazing signing. But we must temper that with the information that we currently have at this moment in time, which is we've got two reputable journalists in the UK saying it's not likely, but then we've got two, Florian more so than Fabrizio, saying that it's on. Basically, we are looking at progressing this and talking to him and seeing where we sit with everything. What I would suggest is this is going to need to marinate over the next couple of days. There'll probably be more information that comes out Monday. So at the moment we're on the 18th. So Monday the 19th of January, we'll probably get a little bit more information as to whether or not it's a yay or a nay. But the thing that's really exciting about this for me is the fact that we seem to be now looking at a much higher caliber of player. And we seem to be now definitely looking at bringing in bodies. We know for definite they are definitely looking at a striker. It's whether or not they're looking at a central defender. It looks like the Doki link is tempering itself down a little bit. But overall, the caliber of player that we're looking to bring in. So we were linked with Doki, really, really good central defender. Strand Larsen, a very, 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 very good striker. And then we've got Schmidt here as well, who is basically one of the best in the Bundesliga at what he does. So for me, that enthuses me in terms of the type of player that we're looking to bring in. But again, what I would say to you is just slow your roll a little bit. Let it temper away, let it marinate, let the pieces of the puzzle come together a little bit more and just kind of see where it goes. I can't really give an opinion one way or the other as to whether or not I think this is going to happen. I think there's a possibility. But I would suggest that probably the information coming out when it has done is not pleased, probably, the 49ers or the club. And the one other thing that you need to look at as well is that Romano's not going to break it out on a Sunday evening to mention this, and neither's Plettenberg either. So it does carry some weight, but we need a little bit more seasoning before we can sear it in and say, yeah, this is definitely happening and it's going to happen. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, all from around all the various bits and pieces that I've got. If you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribed, hype the video, all of that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio and you've enjoyed the audio, please also like the audio as well. You can follow me on Apple and you can follow me on Spotify, as I said. There will be more information to come from this one, so just relax on it a little bit. Just wait for a few more pieces to come in before we can go, yeah, this is definitely happening, or no, it's not happening. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. Thank you as ever for stopping by. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.